Well, we just want to start by saying thank you to everybody for the last 2 days of sharing, for the last 2 days of conversation, for the last 2 days of getting together in a dialogue in many, many different shapes and forms. Whether it be out in this beautiful weather that we've had, sitting out in the commons here, whether it be in the cafeteria over a meal, or whether it be over coffee outside the rooms, or engaging in the conversation in the rooms. Thank you to every one of you that's here. I think we've all learned from each other, so thank you to all of you. We want to start before we have closing words, so I just tried to get another one on Doug there because he got to speak a bunch of times and I only got the once. So we're going to start by saying some thank yous and acknowledgement of support of our donors. We had some donors that were very, very generous in helping us cover the cost of the conference, and we'd like to ask them to come forward up on the stage. We'll call them all up, and then we have some gifts for them. So what I'd like to do is call each of them up and start with Western Title Holdings. I think Tony and Robert are here. Somebody come forward. We also have the Inn on Long Lake. I don't know who's coming from over here. Oh, wonderful. Mandel Pinder was very supportive. Is somebody still here? I know they were running to catch a plane at 4. Coast Bastion, I'm pretty sure I saw somebody from Coast Bastion. Yes, here we are. Timber West, somebody from Timber West? Oh, wonderful. And last is Fortis BC, and I don't think anybody was able to stay from Fortis. I know Bruce had to leave, but anyway. So we'd just like to say thank you to each and every one of the sponsors for the support that they've provided to the conference and to all of us to help this be very successful and for all of us to get together. So thank you to all of you. Thank you.
Conference organizers.
Yeah. Now we'd just like to acknowledge people that really worked very, very hard on behalf of all of us to get the conference together. We had a committee of people that spent a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of effort to put together all the detail and put together the program and have really been the mainstay in making everything happen. So I'd like to call up some folks from Vancouver Island University group, and then also the Snuneymuxw First Nation members. So from Vancouver Island University, I'd like to call Pam Botterill up on stage, Liz Hammond Karima. Liz, if you could come up. Julie Keenan, if Julie, you could come up, and also Dr. Keith Smith. I think Keith is back from his session. Keith, if you could come up as well. And then from Snuneymuxw, if we could get Tiffany up, here we are, Tiffany, and then also Raymond Lamont. Raymond, if you could come forward. Where is Raymond? Do we see? Oh, there he is.
There it comes.
Here he comes.
So you'll recognize Keith and Raymond when they're together, that they're connected in an important way. Thank you, Keith. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This is for Roshan.
So also we had as our animateur, if you will, the individual who was at all sessions and pulled together the conversations and provided the chairmanship, Roshan. And Roshan has done a lovely job of weaving together the conversations and providing opportunities. And we look forward to drawing on Keith and Raymond and the committees to try and get something more out of this conference in terms of some publications and opportunities to get the material that we all heard here in form so that others can learn as well from the sessions. And certainly we'll be looking to Keith and Raymond and Roshan. But Roshan, thank you very much for all that you've done to provide support. Thank you. So now we'll close the conference, and we'll take the opportunity now just to say a few words. And I want to, from the university, thank again all of you. We started out this conversation with the whole understanding that universities are a place for dialogue, and you can't have dialogue unless you got people who are willing to engage in dialogue. And what we found over the last couple days was all of you were engaging. You know, the decibels were up at every coffee break. The decibels were up at lunch. When anybody from the conference was meeting and talking, we could hear that there was a lot of questions. There was a lot of conversation going on. And as a university, it's very important that we provide spaces like that, and especially a space for topics that can be challenging for communities. Because many times what I've found when there's real challenges in communities on different issues, it's because there isn't an understanding of the issues that are being discussed. You know, many times there's a one-sided understanding or bias or belief, but there hasn't been the time taken, or people haven't had the time to really get engaged in a conversation and try and put themselves in a different place where they can open up their ears. And we've heard a lot of people in the talks in the last couple days talk about that hook outside the teepee where you hang your ego. You know, the place where you come in and open your ears. You know, the opportunity to make sure that you stand in somebody else's shoes and listen and listen and listen again, and then engage in conversation from a perspective that maybe you didn't have before, but not just continually always coming from that place where you think you know. And so this has been, I think, a wonderful example of how we as a university can take our responsibility as a tax-funded institution, that you, all of you, support, where we can take our responsibility very seriously and work with the communities that we serve to provide that space. And so talking personally here, I learned an awful lot. I sat through every session that I could, and I listened and I learned a lot. And so from everybody, and I learned a lot from the panelists, I learned a lot from the conversations at coffee, at lunch, and also from the questions that were asked. So to all of you, I say thank you for my own personal learning and understanding. But I also say thank you to the Snuneymuxw and the chiefs and all the members of the communities from the Douglas Treaties communities who have been willing to come and share their challenges with all of us so that we can learn. And so again, as an institution, stepping back into that role, I'll say thank you to Doug, thank you to all the chiefs, and I look forward to continuing these conversations. As an institution, I sat and I listened, and we deal in hope at Vancouver University. That's what education is all about. People coming to us, thinking of the future, thinking of opportunity. I heard an awful lot of call-outs in the sessions, and there was a wonderful call-out from Chief Cook, I believe it was, who was talking about our need to look at what we're going to do now in the future. What's our responsibility going forward? And so as we think about that, and as we think about how we move forward, I'll commit the university to be a place to continue these dialogues. A place at the university where we can open up discussions about K-12 curriculum that I heard raised many, many times. And Brian Tom was an example of why aren't my kids learning about this in their social studies curriculum? Well, at the university, we've got an opportunity to raise some of those questions, and I'm going to talk to the superintendent next week. But there'll be other conversations that can happen. And I just think, as privileged as we are, all of us that work at this institution, that privilege of being at an institution like this comes with incredible responsibility. And so I'll commit the institution to make sure that we continue these conversations. I'll ask Chief White to make sure that he demands of us that we get into conversations. I'll expect that of the chiefs who have been here and their communities, to expect of us as an institution to continue to work with you to provide that opportunity in that space so we can continue those dialogues. And that you continue sending your young people to us so that we continue to work with them and learn from them. Because as much as I've learned from all of you here today, as your students come, as your family members come to this institution, we learn. Because we're not a one-way institution. Students come and sit in our class, our faculty members, they may teach, they may facilitate learning, but you can be sure that we're all learning when all those people come. So thank you to all of you, and we appreciate the opportunity to engage with you in this way. Thank you to Chief White, thank you to your whole community and council, thank you to the chiefs. Again, safe travels to all of you as you go home. I look forward to seeing you again, and thank you for the friendships that have been made here today. Thank you.
Thank you is it's the overwhelming sense that I have right now is real gratitude for everyone's participation. When I opened and welcomed you all here, I said this is one of the most beautiful gestures that can be made in Coast Salish culture, is to respond to an invitation to come and participate in important work and events in the lives of families and communities. And you've done that. And the family and community I'm talking about is Canadian society, all of us together. I know that to look after my own children the best possible way, it means that I have to look after each and every one of you and be concerned about each and every one of you that's here. I recognize that our lives are interconnected in very tight and close ways, and that's a simple fact and reality of our country. The multiplicity, the pluralism of Canadian society is founded and rooted in a deep recognition of difference and unity in that diversity. And what's taking place, I think, here in this conversation, the conversations that have begun over the past 50 years, is simple recognition that somewhere we need to find the appropriate space for the Indigenous aspect of our country to find its home in the recognition and respect and mutuality with everyone else in this country. So I really want to just simply finish with that as much as I care for and love my children, I care for and love for everyone here, because I know that we're all in this together. I know that the treaty from 1854 is a recognition of that basic fact, that basic reality, that our children's lives are going to be intertwined, interconnected, and we need to make sure that we do what we can today to create the greatest possible opportunities for them to have a good and a beautiful life together, to raise and hold up their dignity as high as we can. This conference, the response, I think exceeded my expectations immeasurably. I think that people have been waiting for this opportunity to gather up and to talk about these important issues. The response of everyone from citizens of Nanaimo to Wilton Littlechild and Grand Chief Conrad Seawee, who traveled great distances to be here, who made decisions and reprioritized their lives to spend time with us, to share with us. I think that all of those things combined together really created a remarkable opportunity for us. I'm so thankful and grateful for everyone's participation. I'm so thankful and grateful for the work of my staff and the staff of the university, the hard work that's been put into this. I want to recognize my sister Tracy for the time that she's put into in terms of some of the protocol advice and helping to coordinate. This is all everyone's piece of this. All of the volunteers, I see all these wonderful people in the blue shirts everywhere I looked in the last couple of days. There's someone in a blue shirt. You know, those are that's the thing, the contributions that really make a difference in our lives. So I'm very grateful and thankful for that. I want to really thank the chiefs, the nations of the Douglas Treaty Nations for, the discussions. 2 years ago, we met in Snuneymuxw territory. We gathered up and we talked about this conference as being something that would be an important part of our collective work in the future. And here it is, and here are the closing remarks of this conference. It's an amazing thing that we've been working on over that period of time, and here we are. Enabled and assisted and helped by this important institution here that we co-hosted with Vancouver Island University under the leadership of Dr. Ralph Nilson, really creates the opportunity and I think an appropriate space for us to gather in to talk about these important issues in a way of recognition and respect of each other. We need to counteract and be wary and feel upset about sometimes conversations take place in different contexts through the media and otherwise that are very destructive and not a good way to go about things. So this space is an important one, and I'm so grateful of everyone that's come together to create it for us to be in for the past 2 days. Roshan, I want to thank you so much for your assistance and coordination, your chairmanship. I think you've done a fantastic job. I'm really grateful for that. This is some of the most complicated issues that this country faces are the ones that we've talked about over the last 2 days, and being able to continue and maintain the momentum and hold the threads of all of the different strands of thought together in the way that you have is admirable, and I very much appreciate that. I want to thank again the donors and thank as well all of the panelists that have traveled and taken time out of their professional lives to come and assist us to facilitate these discussions that all Canadians have to have. I know that sometimes the particular kind of expertise and language that you use sometimes seems quite distant from lay people, but nonetheless, your knowledge and the deep study and that you've put into developing your understandings and then your willingness to share those understandings with all of us, for that I'm very grateful. So with all of that together, I think that this has been a beautiful, for me, a beautiful reflection of the opportunity of what the treaty means, of living together and talking together and working out our lives together these last 2 days. And I do sense the momentum, and I sense for me, the excitement of the confirmation of that reality, and expect that we will continue on in different ways of going down this railway track together. I hope that we don't see some light at the end of the tunnel that it's a good light. It's not a train coming straight at all of us collectively. I'm sure it won't be as long as we're diligent and focused in our efforts. So thank you to everyone so much for gathering up in Snuneymuxw territory in the last couple of days. From the bottom of my heart, on behalf of the Snuneymuxw people, express our gratitude. Thank you.
I think, on behalf of everyone here, I'd like to thank these two gentlemen and Chief White's council, the leadership of the university, and Dr. Nilson for the visionary partnership that they have formed. You know, we heard throughout the conference about how in life we often don't realize the transformational moments when they happen. Tom Berger, Maisie Hurley walked into my room and said, "You defend the Indians now." 50 years later, he's here. Wilton Littlechild said, "I was asked this question by the elders." Direct line from that question to United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. How many transformational moments will people look back that began here because of the leadership and vision that brought us all together? So thank you to all of you, and thank you to them, and thank you for a wonderful few days all together. Thank you. We're just going to have a closing prayer.
I don't have a drum, so I'm going to just sing a closing prayer. I'd say, Paul, I'd say, Paul, I'd say, Paul, Kwas mi ehoa nitana sahali tzitza tamach itana tamoch. Thank you.